This is definitely one of the few highlights of Dai surviving on a deserted island. I found a hanging sheep. Not only did this operation become a hit in the wilderness, got a room full of mutton jerky, eating sizzling roasted lamb legs, chewing on a fist-sized hermit crab, a good survival show. He turned it into a wilderness on the tip of his tongue. Since Dai spent a year after hiking through the Amazon, his passive skills have been perfected by him. In order to challenge his own limits in this episode, Dai plans to survive alone on an isolated island for 60 days. Considering that this challenge may be a one-way trip before departure, Dai specifically asked the veterinarian did a comprehensive examination. After ensuring that all indicators of the body are in good condition, Dai took the nuclear-powered speedboat of the setting group. A piece of peanuts and soybeans hybrid oil reaches its destination quickly. Then he skillfully took off his pants and put on mosaics. After saying goodbye to Odibio, Dai's heart suddenly felt mixed. You know, I don't even have a single hair on my head. In the next 60 days he can only suffer by himself. Bear the difficulties on your own. As we all know, the most important thing to survive on a deserted island is to find water. Look around, there are many coconut trees growing on the island. Due to the lack of handy collection tools, yield only targets short people. Then face the reef head on. It tastes sweet and delicious. The taste is simply amazing. Solve the urgent water problem next. We need to consider shelter. After all, the temperature here at night can drop hundreds of degrees. Dai kept exploring along the beach. He actually found a cave. The size and location are just right. I was so happy that I couldn't help but send it to you. The gift is very small. I immediately decided to settle down here. Then I found some licorice and spread it on the ground as a mattress. Watching the sunset on the first night while chewing coconut don't live a comfortable life. The next morning when he woke up, he felt refreshed. Today's mission is to explore the island, finding food and water. Searching along the beach, he found many conchs attached to the reef. Dai collected some, then knock it open with a stone. Considering that eating conch raw has certain risks, Dai decided to try one first. If there is no problem, continue to eat. Tastes neither salty nor bland. The protein content is dozens of times that of beef. After eating and drinking, we continued searching along the beach. He found a stream of water flowing out of the rock wall. What is even more unexpected is that there is still fresh water in the pit. This really excited Dai. Can't wait to taste it. The taste is cool and sweet and quite authentic. The thirst quenching index is dozens of times that of beef. However, being naked all the time makes Dai feel insecure, so I plucked some bark from a nearby tree. Thick licorice filling, made myself a piece of bird protection equipment, don't you say it? Dai's craftsmanship is pretty good. That's me. Keep going. He found many bottle washed ashore. It can be used to store fresh water. One of them even has a straw. We continued on for another 45 minutes. Takuno finally figured out the location of the island. After all, there is no navigation without bad maps. It's not easy to get lost. In order to sleep comfortably at night, Dai specially collected some brown fish liquid. I didn't expect there would be an unexpected harvest during the collection process. It's a gecko that checked the almanac and didn't go out. No need to cut off the beginning and the end. Put it directly into your mouth. It's crunchy and has the texture of chewing beef tendon. It was the morning of the third day. Dai collected a bunch of shells after they washed neatly placed together. As long as it rains heavily, then he will have endless fresh water to drink. Then he used the rope he picked up as a red straw. One end is placed in the recess of the rock wall. One end is placed in the bottle. In this way the water will flow down the rope into the bottle. After doing this, Dai also plans to explore the interior of the island. I want to see if there are other resources available. You won't know until you see it. I was shocked when I saw it. There are many wild goats living on the island. The bald guy is drooling. Unfortunately, he didn't have any hunting tools. I can only secretly swear to try it again in the future. Continue searching. Dai found the wooden rug left by Friday. Although this thing can't be eaten, but it can clean teeth. Dai used stones to grind it into fine powder. Put it in your mouth and rub it crazily. The carbon content is dozens of times that of beef. They say boys who love cleanliness luck won't be too bad. On the way back, Dai found a wine stick 15 casual shirt. Besides, he didn't find any useful supplies on the island. Time came to the fifth day. These days Dai has been relying on coconuts and conchs to fill his stomach. Come and check the water outlet. There's half a bottle of water in it. Food and water are no longer a problem. Grandpa finally put the fire on the agenda. Making fire for making tools. Dai used a mature tree as a worker, working with tree bark, then split a log to make the base, but it is easier said than done. I was busy all morning. Xiao Detzi is so tired that he has cramps. No Mars either. When it rains, it pours. More bad news for water storage. The fresh water that was collected with great effort was scattered all over the ground. Looking at the little fresh water left in the bottle, I feel unprecedented confusion, but life must go on. Dai can only continue to pick coconuts to replenish water, but he had picked all the dwarf coconuts along the coast. He had no choice but to attack at high altitudes. After using the shell for 2.5 hours, successfully cut down a long and thick sapling. This solved the imminent water shortage problem. I wove a new grass skirt to boost morale, then return to the camp and resume your life, but whether it is a wood saw or a hand drill, just won't come out no matter what. He at this moment finally realized the seriousness of the problem. He speculated that it must be because the wood was not strong enough. Time flies, and it's the 7th day. Due to long-term malnutrition and lack of water makes Yi look very haggard. I don't even have the energy to pick coconuts. Just use 2 moves. Grandpa's strong heart suddenly collapsed at this moment. Lonely and hungry, despair is breaking him down bit by bit. Only through the heart-wrenching roar can it be vented. However, misfortune has always chosen him, a poor man. Vomiting is accompanied by eat conch meat all day long. His body finally couldn't take it anymore. I've lost all my spirit. Even coconut meat, which is usually considered delicious, it also becomes difficult to swallow if you keep going like this. Forget about completing the challenge. Whether I can go back to see my grandma is still uncertain. After careful consideration, he decided to open the medical kit. Injecting yourself with antibiotics. So we come to the 11th day of the challenge. Experts finally ushered in a turning point. Not only does the body gradually recover, there was a sudden heavy rain last night. Fill the shells full. Dai uses a straw to transfer rainwater into a plastic bottle. One couldn't help being happy and gave a wicked laugh. Good luck comes one after another as we continue to explore the interior of the island. Discovered the spine taro plant. Its roots are rich in carbohydrates. Dai dug 4 or 5. No, fire eating it raw may cause mouth ulcers, but this is not difficult for Dai. He used the tetanus blade he picked up, cut it into thick slices, expose in the sun. An hour later. That means I'll come check in 2.5 hours. Pick up a piece and put it in your mouth to try. A good guy. It's so crisp. The carbohydrate content of potato chips is dozens of times that of beef. Dai ate it all in one breath, but you can't just eat vegetarian food without eating meat. To supplement protein, Dai plans to make some fish traps. Split the plastic bottles you picked up into 2. Insert the bottle mouth into the bottle body. A fish trap is ready. Go to the shore and use conch as bait. Put it in the puddle on the reef. Come check in 3 hours. Unexpectedly, there are some gains. There are several spicy fish lying around in it. It's a pity that there is no blessing from Firefly, so Mr. Da started to enjoy the fish sashimi. 2 meals with meat and vegetables. Dai has accumulated a lot of great power in his body. This gave him the idea of living again. Summarize the lessons learned from previous failures. Choose a sturdier wood base. After everything is ready, Dai held the drill and started rubbing it crazily. After many twists and turns, finally, Mars appeared. Then put it on the fire dragon and blow it gently. The fire star lord did not disappoint. The blazing flames were successfully ignited. It's really too difficult. Dai was so excited that he cried, even happier than meeting Grandma Da. With the blessing of the fire, Dai finally doesn't have to eat raw food anymore. As for whether the big bald head can succeed in the challenge, let's wait and see. Deserted island seeking soldiers. After much effort, I finally got the fire started. As a British gentleman, the first thing with fire, just make yourself a cup of cool hot tea. 1 bite is refreshing. My mental state has improved a lot. Even the coconut meat that we usually eat raw, Dai also did not forget to roast it by the fire. Tastes a bit like burnt cookies. There are 47 days left for the summer challenge. The rainy season is coming soon. If you keep staying in the cave, you will freeze to death sooner or later. Therefore, Dai must hurry before the rainy season. Build a shelter from wind and rain, but before that he still needs to deal with the top priority. The rainwater collected a few days ago is almost gone. He must find a stable water source again. Thinking back to when I was exploring the island, a natural basin, discovered there's probably fresh water there. Dai moved the stone away. Sure enough, I found a small puddle with clear water. The turbid water appears rich yellow. It has reached the level of direct drinking. It tastes sweet and delicious. It smells like wild Fanta. Dai collected 4 or 5 bottles in total. On the way back he also found a lemon tree. Its leaves are rich in vitamin C, perfect for making tea. Dai collected some and brought them back to the camp. Time flies, and it's the 15th day. Yi goes to the beach early in the morning, caught a few crabs and 2 flying fish. No onions, ginger, or garlic. Cook directly in the iron pot. Yi couldn't bear to let go of even the soup. After all, in this place no food should be wasted. After breakfast, Dai entered the island with his equipment. Find an open, flat area. We plan to build a shelter here. Due to the lack of suitable tools for cutting trees, Dai can only use haku, instead just chopping down a tree. It took all his effort. Tie the main beams first. Use wooden ropes, bark instead, and if you want the shelter to be able to keep out the wind and rain, at least 10 branches of this kind are needed. He spent 2 days in total Only then did we build a rough framework with his heavy physical labor in sharp contrast to his pitiful little bit of familiarity this day. The seawater receded at noonday. He plans to go out to find some protein to avoid sun damage to your delicate skin. He smeared Sydney all over his body, then he went out with the shopping basket. Although I didn't find anything to eat, but he found a lot of marine debris washed ashore. This is like a treasure to Di. He not only collected some plastic bottles, I also found a toothbrush and a football. Time comes to the 18th day. Although the days are hard, but the habit of brushing your teeth every day must be maintained. Di grinds charcoal with stones to make toothpaste. Give yourself a nail that you haven't brushed for half a month. Brushed inside and out. Although the taste is not as good as before, but the effect is dozens of times that of beef. Then continue to build a shelter. There is still a lack of a support pillar to support the roof. So he took the shroud and started chopping the tree. However, due to long-term malnutrition as a result, he had to stay where he was after working for a while. Rest for several hours in vivo, craving protein all the time. There was no way he could do anything but put down the work at hand. Carrying a shopping basket to the beach to look for rotten fish and shrimp. This time he has reaped a lot of rewards. In addition to crabs and an unlucky eel, however, the next thing we discovered was a bunch of unknown creatures. Can't help but keep my hair short. The short-sighted Di was greatly enlightened. This thing not only looks weird, a milky white liquid is still flowing out. After a while, it was all over Di. Regardless of whether it is safe to use, as long as you can supplement protein, take it all the way back to the camp and light a fire and grill. Take a sip. After 10 minutes it tastes soft, sweet, and a little sticky. Nutrition is not to be mentioned at least dozens of times that of beef. As for that unknown creature, it was juicy halfway through baking. Although I don't seem to have any appetite, adhere to the principle of no waste. Di is still full of tastes, a bit like burnt tires. On the 19th night, Di ushered in the first heavy rain since the challenge. Early in the morning he began to collect fresh water with a straw. It also contains 9 bottles of imported mineral water. Now we don't have to worry about fresh water anymore. However, the rain also made him feel stressed. Because the cave faces the sea with no shelter, once the weather gets bad, it's no longer habitable. Looks like he needs to speed up the construction of the shelter. Since there are no large leaves on the island to serve as roofs, Di can only weave this kind of brown donkey leaf, then tie the woven leaves to the frame. In the next few days Di keeps repeating this. Until the 22nd day of the challenge, when Di was picking coconuts, an unexpected gain. This mangosteen-like fruit Shenong De is not sure whether it can be eaten. Smash one open and take a sip. Good guy, tastes spicy. I can't swallow it at all to replenish enough energy. Di came to the place where he found taro. Before thinking back to the taro, tasted pretty good. Let him mistakenly believe that leaves can be eaten as a result. Shenong De took a bite. Pain and itching throughout the gums. Tongue feels like it's on fire. Fortunately, I vomited it out in time, otherwise, the desert island survival would end here. In the next period of time the food problem has not improved. This makes Di's construction speed very slow. The roof is only half completed so far. When I was looking for food at the sea that day, I met a tough guy. Let the eel take several bites. What made him even more angry was the wild goats on the island. I totally ignored him. Eating, drinking, defecating and urinating beside the shack. This really pissed off Di. If I didn't have a good job, we have to give them a whole meal of crispy chicken flavor. So time came to the 24th day. I think the shelter is almost finished. Di decided to move the dry firewood over first. But when he was making plans with great enthusiasm, the next second I realized something was wrong. Length of the shelter roof. It's obviously difficult to protect him from the wind and rain. I don't want more than 10 days of hard work to go to waste. Di decided to lengthen the roof of the shelter, but now he is already exhausted physically and mentally. Every part of the body craves companionship. This made him miss his grandmother very much. I thought he would give up. I didn't expect that he has become accustomed to this kind of life. Time came to the 27th day. Di's good luck finally came. While exploring the island he found the spinal taro seedlings. A total of 7 taro roots were dug out, plus a few hermit crabs with food supplies. Di was finally able to complete the construction of the shelter roof. Time came to the 29th day. After 2 days of renovation the shelter is finally complete. This makes Di feel particularly good. I couldn't help but close the training she's original songs from 2.5 years ago. Did it Dan Eddie in his shelter. Then pack your luggage and fire. Heading towards a new home. Completed such an important thing. Of course, you have to reward yourself. I made myself a cup of Bilyuakun, but he is not satisfied with the status quo. He has a bigger plan to implement next. And the next episode of Desert Island Survival, there will also be a climax. Let's wait and see. Yes, it covers up my old babies. This is definitely Di's jungle career. The most controversial scene when others survive in the wilderness. When I was still hungry for 9 meals in 3 days, he is already on a deserted island. Pick up the wild goat that was not dropped. Not only did I get a room full of mutton jerky, I also ate a fist-sized piece of coconut filling. Chewing on the roasted lamb leg. If you don't know, you might think he's on vacation. Since moving into the new home overnight, his life gradually went astray, going to the sea every day to make a living. Although the problem of food and clothing has been solved, but to truly live the life of a royal, Dai must take action against the wild goats on the island. After several days of follow-up investigation, he found that there were 7 wild goats in the herd, mostly active in the northern part of the island. Then Dai decided to make a bow and arrow for hunting. Cut down a small tree that was not good enough to make the bow. The bowstring is replaced by the rope of scissors. It only takes less than 10 minutes. A bow and arrow that never misses. You're done. Dai couldn't wait to try the effect. Unexpectedly, the sword shot out and deviated to the right. Looks like it needs a little improvement. In the blink of an eye, it is the 37th day. This day, Lord Da ushered in a great harvest. I picked up more than a dozen crabs early in the morning, plus 2 large cans of conch shells, just enough to meet his daily calorie needs. However, as he was preparing to cook a feast, the scene before my eyes completely broke the room. There was a big hole in the bottom of the jar. I had no choice but to use shells instead. Looking at this pot of crab soup with all the colors, aromas, and flavors, Dai couldn't wait to taste it. However, crabs are good, but don't be greedy. As expected, early this morning Dai found that his belly was swollen like a ball. Even farts from time to time. To alleviate this symptom, Dai started chewing wood, but not long after the situation is getting worse. Persistent headaches and stomach cramps. He lay on the ground screaming in pain. I really can't stand it anymore. Dai immediately called the medical staff. After a while, they finally arrived. Dai's condition has improved a lot. So after a brief inquiry, the medical staff Dai prescribed a few antibiotics and left. The next morning, although Dai's body has not recovered yet, but the daily routine of catching seafood cannot be stopped. This is a necessary condition for him to survive on the island. As I walked, I found a domestic oil barrel. Bring it back to camp and split it in 2 with a nail. It is a sturdy and durable rice cooker. Then I polished the tetanus blade I picked up. Then use the bark to combine the wood cake with it. A Stormax is completed. Simply try the effect. It's so sharp. More than enough for chopping melons and vegetables. As early as half a month ago, Dai will enter the farming era. Planted a few taro roots that I was reluctant to eat. In this way, every once in a while he can harvest taro. He dug out the one that was growing poorly. Bring it back to camp and cut it into thick slices. No onions, ginger, or garlic. Throw it directly into the pot and heat it. It's the 43rd day. Dai's good luck finally came while exploring the island today. Found a huge coconut crab. Pick it up and weigh it. This guy weighs more than 10 kilograms. This made Dai very happy. High-end ingredients. Often only the simplest cooking method is needed. Throw it directly onto the charcoal fire. When you get back to the camp, no natural chili peppers. Half an hour later, the aroma of crabs fills the entire hentang. Look at this crab meat, which is bigger than your fist. Don't be too satisfied after taking a bite. It's so delicious that I can't say anything for a while. The body is supplemented with protein. Dai is full of energy today. He plans to process the swordsman. Cut the palm leaves as swordfish. Tie nails to the arrowhead to increase penetration. Now everything is ready. All that's missing is the goat. Turning back into the bush looking for traces of wild goats in the forest. Pick one. The lone Dai shot several times in a row. Didn't even touch a strand of wool. I have to quibble. The narrow terrain affected his performance. Time comes to 44 days. Although I didn't get the sheep, but life must go on. Yes, I also found a water pipe and a plastic bucket. Plan to manufacture an automatic water storage device. Dai cut the plastic tube first, then put them under the eaves. In this way the rainwater can flow into the bucket at the end. Soon the opportunity to test the feasibility of this device has arrived. It rained heavily on the island that day. Rainwater is flowing through the pipes. Flow into the bucket now. Mr. Da no longer has to worry about water shortage. Dai's good luck doesn't stop there. On this day, when I went out to catch the sea as usual, suddenly on the shore a billy goat was found after an attempted hangman. At this time his head was stuck in the branches. Faced with this protein feast that is delivered to your door, Dai's adrenaline began to soar. Goat, I was also trembling under the sudden bald head. Prevent the other party from suffering unnecessary pain. The kind-hearted Dai picked up the stone on the ground, ended his life quickly and humanely with this grown goat. The next half month, no need to worry about food anymore. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but send out yes, calm down, and carried the protein back to the camp. Take out the long-sealed husband. Dai skillfully taking off his coat. After more than 2 hours of processing, Dai got 4 lamb legs, 2 lamb chops, and a lot of meat. Then Dai cut the meat into strips. Finally, after more than 7 hours of hard work, completed all the deconstruction work. He was already exhausted at this time, so I quickly cooked a pot of mutton soup for myself. The thought of having a feast soon. Dai is as happy as a 20-year-old adult. Then pick a piece of lamb ball and take A bite, my goodness, it's so delicious that its explosive nutrition is not to be mentioned, at least dozens of times that of beef the next morning. We were full and satisfied. Worried that food will spoil if left for too long, Dai hung them on the roof to smoke the lamb legs. Dai plans to dig an underground oven cooking. Dig a big hole first filled with stones, then ignite the blazing flames after the fire is extinguished. Put the lamb legs neatly, cover the surface with brown fish liquid, then cover it with mud and windproof cloth. Come check in 2.5 hours. The moment the soil is uncovered, the fragrance hits you. Don't care about burning your mouth. Without saying anything, Dai quickly dodged away. Good guy, don't be too satisfied after taking a bite. Yi only felt that energy was continuously absorbed into his body. I couldn't help being excited. Just give a smirk that no one gives. Eat and drink and sit by the sea to enjoy the sunset. The next few days Dai sits in the shelter every day and enjoys mutton. Time comes to 47 days. He ate half of the mutton on the roof. It's not that Dai is worried that they will deteriorate, but the taste is really good. I can't help it. Even when I get up at night to go to the toilet, I have to chew one. The goat skin was not wasted. After cleaning, fix it on a wooden rack to air dry. After drying, simply process. I got a sheepskin coat. Good guy put it on. The whole person's appearance and the temperament has improved a lot, but even with goat meat, Dai was still not satisfied. He came to the place where the goat's entrails were thrown. Looking at the dense insect repellent above, he plans to reuse the waste. I filled a can with all my strength. Scatter them in the puddles on the reef, then build a stone bridge at the entrance. As long as there are greedy fish going astray, then all that awaits him is to become calories. Now we just have to wait for those stupid fish to take the bait. Come check in 2.5 hours. I didn't expect him to catch it. A big and small grouper cut into thick slices back at the camp. Put it in the pot and simmer for 5 minutes. A delicious fish soup is ready. The delicious taste goes straight to the top of the head after one bite. Seeing that things are developing in a good direction this way, Dai is also a little bit drifting, so in the next few days he began to make bamboo valves, collect some dead bamboo from nearby after building the main frame, tie bubbles to increase benefits. This is how a ward far is completed. Time comes to day 51. Lord depict an auspicious day and made a law, but I don't know if it's because the wind and waves are too strong today. It took Dai half a day to advance 2.5 meters. Even the sea water is pushing towards the shore. It seems that this method will definitely not work. In desperation, Dai had to give up his plan to fish on the 57th day. Since achieving food freedom, Dai also did not forget to strengthen his physical exercise. Try to satisfy Grandma Da when you return. In his spare time, Dai made a bed for himself paired with a warm wool blanket. A wilderness Simmons mattress is all that's needed. The moment I lay down, my whole body went limp. When I went out for a walk this day, he also found a mango tree. His green appearance must be unripe. But Takuno doesn't care about anything. I picked one and started to move away quickly. I don't know if I bit too hard. I accidentally broke my dentures. Now it's easy to talk, but the air is about to leak. At noon, crab, conch, and taro stew. Takuno cooked a dark dish for himself. I ate 5 and 6 treasures. Challenge in a blink of an eye. On the last day, get up early in the morning. Howard has a serious illness that starts to take effect independently. 60 days on a deserted island. Let his beard grow all the way to the top of his head. Exist saying goodbye to the shack that has been with me for 2 months. Then he happily came to the shore with his equipment as the helicopter slowly arrived. The 60-day desert island survival ended perfectly.